for me, sustainability is a way to sort of look at production, look at what we make, look at consumption, and bring it to a level where it is fully sustainable for the planet and for people. And it is a moving target. It isn't a sort of single arrival point. And it is also quite different industry by industry, product by product, service by service. And so what I've seen in the last, sort of 20 years or so is that, every industry requires its own set of solutions and its own set of progression towards a circular or, and sustainable sort of product and consumption. And so that's the rather big challenge that we're all facing moving forward. I'm optimistic. I mean, I don't think you can be a designer and not be optimistic. There's new processes that we've been able to use recently, for example, that have been quite amazing, and such as wood products made from wood dust, essentially waste from the wood industry, or circular projects from plastics that are collected out of the ocean. So I think there are a number of opportunities moving forward, but it is very complex because the sort of production methods, the materials, the distribution methods and logistics, all of that has to change. There's a huge transformation that has to take place. And without, I think, a three-prong approach, one which is obviously industry has to adopt and invest and find leadership in doing that. And then there needs to be sort of government and enforcement, and then consumer preference. I think we already have consumer preference and drive towards that. But I think as designers, as well as industry, needs to really demonstrate that it's feasible, that it can be done at the right price point, and that it isn't a burden at the end for the consumer to carry. I think people want to consume consciously, but they want it to be practical and easy and affordable. I think for industry, I talk to a lot of CEOs and executives who truly believe that is what needs to be done. But they are also conscious, hopefully, and often I've noticed these days about the notion of greenwashing, and doing it right means really transforming from the ground up what it is that you do, how it is that you make it, produce it, sell it, distribute it. And I think that is a huge endeavor, for any company, because production often is sometimes owned by the companies that make these products. Sometimes it's third party. So you have to not just change yourself, you have to change your entire your entire system. In being sustainable, we're also often able to sort of bring projects at a reasonable price point. So in a way, you serve the consumer in two ways. You serve the consumer with a lighter product on the earth. I mean, for example, the chair I'm sitting on right now, the sail chair, the idea was to create a lower carbon footprint product, but that means we knew from the beginning it had to be lighter, it had to have less parts, it had to be parts had to do double, triple duty from a structural standpoint. And then, obviously we were lucky to work through the Herman Miller system of, cradle to cradle, and sort of, sustainability standards. And so, if you bring the two together, the intent of doing something that is lighter on the planet, literally, again, less weight, less material, less parts, you're already moving a step in the right direction. It is an iterative process to make things sustainable over time. It is also one where, hopefully, and sometimes you have huge breakthroughs, which make things go faster than iteration. But those breakthroughs often come from, I would say, deep new innovations in manufacturing. For example, additive manufacturing that doesn't require tools, that doesn't require injection molding machines, that doesn't require shipping things, overseas and getting them back, to the country where you want to sell the product. Those are very, very promising and tend to be breakthroughs that will be 10x, better than current production, and certainly better than an iterative process. But again, it's industry by industry, material by material, function by function that will achieve that. I've always felt that aesthetics and beauty and how the material process is revealed is a big part of design in general, but it's also a big part of the product showing by itself, but with its own texture and material, that it is different, that it is made differently. A good example is, I just grabbed this from my desk, is the ocean cleanup glasses. You can see, it's a beautiful wearable product, but the materials, when you touch it, when you come in contact with it, has a different feel. It's slightly oily, which actually makes it more comfortable, on the skin. It also has these beautiful sort of swirls of materials, since it's made from multiple different types of colors and from ocean trash. But that's this is a very important project, because it's made 100% out of ocean waste that's been picked up in the Pacific garbage patch, and we sell them to finance more cleanup by the ocean cleanup. And so the more we sell, the more material is cleaned out of the ocean, and the more of these eyeglasses we can make. So it is a truly circular project in that sense. And so far we have sold more than enough glasses to clean more than half of the Pacific garbage patch. And so anyone who wants to contribute and then also have a good pair of sunglasses for the summer, I would go to the ocean cleanup and order them, because each of these, each pair of glasses cleans up 24 football fields of, the money raised by each of these allows the organization to clean up 24 football fields in the Pacific garbage patch.